Here we are, back online, Fred. This will be our third shot at trying to get the questions answered from you. So I'd like to welcome everybody. I'm Marty Milligan with WSI. Uh, that's a digital on ramp. WSI. We are a local digital marketing company and technology company. We turn searchers into visitors, visitors into buyers, and buyers into lifelong clients. Um, our live stream today is brought to you by PillowSonic. PillowSonic is a great little contraption that allows you to listen to music or podcasts or books on tape as you fall asleep. It plays right through your pillow so it doesn't disturb anybody else in the house. It makes a great stocking stuffer for Christmas. In the description is a link to PillowSonic where you can pick one up. Like I said, they make great gifts. Um, if you need some last minute Christmas gifts, we have Fun Gifts from Everyone is a sponsor, and again, they have a link down below. And today we're having a discussion about getting out of debt, and I invited one of the smartest guys on getting out of debt that I know of, Fred Allen of Allenomics. He's going to talk to us all about what we can do to kind of lighten the load with the economy being what it is and the government going into debt the way it is. It's up to each of us to get ourselves out of debt. So, with that, I'm going to bring in Fred. Fred, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Fred Allen. I run Allenomics, and what that is a service. I have a software program that really runs like a GPS. It's like you were going to go to Pittsburgh. It gives you step-by-step driving directions. Although you've never been to Pittsburgh, it's going to tell you the fastest way to get there. My software tells you the fastest way to get to Zero Debt Lane. It only gives you one direction, and that's the address. And it does it with essentially you're not changing your monthly budget. You're working with what you already have. It's going to give you step by step directions to move money from checking to savings, which bill to pay first.
Great. And because we've been trying to do this a couple different times, we've had a ton of questions come in since I first announced this. And like the scatterbrain that I am, I did not. I kind of consolidated, when five or six people asked the same question, I kind of consolidated it down into one. So I don't have like George asked the following question. Each of these questions is really a composite of about two or three people's question on the same subject. So we could kind of keep this short and within the hour. So the first question that came in was something along the lines of, can the average person with a lot of debt, and for example cars and school and mortgage and credit cards, really realistically expect to get out of debt?
The answer is yes. I do it all the time. It's every day. If you visit my website, allenomics.com, there are 3 videos that show you how the software works. There's nothing like this. Of all the things I've looked at, I haven't found anything that's even close to how this software works. It works with multiple loans, it works with multiple debts. The more you have, it seems to go faster. It's just amazing. It will work with one mortgage, it works with multiple mortgages for real estate investors. Typically, people that have student loans have multiple loans. There's really no limit. It's going to pick the fastest way to pay these loans down. Remembering that if you have 3 debts, there's 6 different ways to pay those debts. Which would be the fastest? You could pay A, you could pay B, and then pay C. Or would it work better to pay C and then A and then B and so on and so forth? There's 6 ways to pay 3 loans. When you get to 4 loans, there's over 20 ways. Which would be the fastest? How would you know? What math would you use? What methodology? This is a computer program that's processing many, many algorithms a second. So I encourage you to watch the videos on my website, alanomics.com. It is truly remarkable how this stuff works.
Yeah, I really was impressed because when some people know that I know you because I went to college up near where you grew up. I went to college in a little place called Westminster. Fred grew up in Valant, and I was a math major. And us geeky math guys, we would always there was always this idea of how do you make money with math. There was the typical card counting, but there was also the interest rate arbitrage, and you would always look for ways to use float or differences in interest rate calculations. And the problem there was it was always just so difficult to execute the plan. It's like you could really make a lot of money. Us math guys could always find a way in theory to make the money. It was always just too difficult to do it in reality.
Right.
And when I saw the debt shredder, I was like, wow, somebody actually took all of those esoteric calculations, put them in a program, and showed
Yeah,
the
it,
average guy how to do this if they just follow the instructions.
exactly. So this technically isn't using arbitrage, but I mean, it kind of looks like it is. Is it's looking at factorial math, the time value of money, and bank float. And if you don't know what bank float is, just Google it. But it's doing all these calculations. It appears they're being done simultaneously, but it's doing it so quickly. And it'll work with really anybody's budget as long as you're making more money than you spend. I've had people that at the end of the month really only had $10 left over. They're in a hard time. You have $10 left over, but the software did work. And so I encourage you to look at my videos or reach out to us, and we'd be happy to get you maybe a link on YouTube with our videos.
Great. And the next question was, and I've got a couple that came in this way. I couldn't get a debt consolidation loan. Is there anything else I can do?
So what we do is absolutely not debt consolidation. And I get asked this quite a bit. People ask me, so I make loans. I'm not in the lending business. I run a software program. And this is the issue with the debt consolidation is you can't get the loan or you can't get a really favorable rate. What you're doing is you're taking a new loan to pay off the old loans. You know what? You're still in debt. You still have a loan, maybe much favorable rates, but you still got to pay off this new loan. We're not doing that. We're running a software program that shows you how to pay, in which sequence to pay off which loan. And in so doing, you end up canceling interest. Now, who do you know that knows how to cancel interest? That's what's so remarkable about this program. So the fact is that you don't have a credit score to get another loan for us is neither here nor there. That's not a requirement for us at all.
Yeah, and I think these debt consolidation loans sometimes they can be the right move, but frequently they just
It,
put you with a longer term
yeah,
loan, and
yeah.
you're paying
So
interest for a longer period of time.
I mean, it was a good idea actually until we came along with this program. There's no application for anything. You don't have to be approved. To get the consolidation, you got to get another loan. And if you can't do that, then there you are. Come to us. Let us run a free analysis, and we'll show you what this is going to do for you. Look, if it doesn't work, then you can go do something else. But the analysis is completely free. We want to see what this will do for you.
And the next question, I got a couple people who are fans of Dave Ramsey. They are trying the Dave Ramsey method of paying off debt, but it is just taking forever. Is there a faster way? And I think what they mean is if you've followed Dave Ramsey, he always does pay your smallest loan first. And he doesn't look at interest rates or anything like that and trying to figure out how you should do your payoffs.
Right. So sometimes we do depending on the software is customized to you. Everybody's finances are different. And I might want to take this. I usually don't like to bring them up, but I would like to say I take my hat off to Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey has done a tremendous benefit to our society by bringing the debt and the problem of debt and bringing that out into society. So I commend the man. I think he's one of my heroes. I think highly of him. But what we have is a digital program. His is an analog program. He's unfortunately he's not going to be able to tell you how much money you're going to save or actually when your payoff date will be. With our software, it will tell you exactly how much interest you're going to cancel, how much you're going to save, and what the how many years you shave off your mortgage or your student loan or so forth. So again, I repeat, I encourage you, look at our videos, let us do an analysis and look at what Mr. Ramsey is doing and just compare the two.
Yeah, I really think that I don't think you can say something bad about Dave Ramsey and his program, but it definitely is a low tech way of doing it. And I know of a lot of people who got frustrated with it just because it is kind of a slog. And one of the one of the ways to stay on a program um, is to get positive feedback along the way. And with the Ramsey program, you only really get that as you pay each loan off. Yet with the
Right.
debt shredder, it kind of shows you where you are along the path. And
Absolutely. Yeah. And you're working, what it's doing is it's paying off your MasterCard and your mortgage at the same time. It's actually miraculous, is how the stuff does. You pull it up about once a week. I run my program, I have it. I have to date, I have canceled 24,869 $69, $24,869 that I will not pay the bank. Folks, at my age, that might not be a big chunk, but it is a big chunk to me. And again, with ours, you're not really changing your monthly budget. You're using banking methodology that the banks use. The banks use it. This allows you to use it to pay the lowest amount and pay your loans off fast. This is not, I'm not talking about you canceling your bowling club. You're not canceling your gym membership. You keep the budget that you have. You're not eating peanut butter sandwiches with this program. You're continuing to budget just the way you currently now. As long as you have more income than outgo, the program's going to work great.
great. Um, the next one's kind of similar to is everyone able to get out of debt? Don't some people just have to be in debt for life?
So that's just not true. And I encourage you again is that you look at this and let us just show you what your numbers are going to look like. The only instance I've had is I've had two people that were making very, very good money. One was in the medical profession, doing really well, but what? Spending more than they were bringing in. They were making so much money, it wasn't really showing up, but it's going to eventually show up at some point. And we couldn't get the software to run. As long as you have what I call discretionary income, that means at the end of the month, you have $10 or $15 left over that you've not dedicated to a loan or some kind of an expense, this software is going to run. And it actually gets stronger, it gets faster as you continue to use it. Now, on my program, just to let you know, it's easy to use. It's just simply a click of a couple buttons. I have a staff that trains and guides you. You can call us 5 days a week. We can walk you through any questions that you have. It's easy to use. Once we do this a couple of times, you're off and running. It's pretty much like driving a car down the driveway. And the other thing about it is I use mine, for instance, it generally about 10 minutes on a Saturday morning. I update my grocery shopping, any items that I might have bought. I paid the water bill and I paid the electric bill. 10 minutes, pull it up, enter that data. It's giving me a new calculation, and I move on to my weekend.
And you can help folks get set up once they buy them. It's not you can help them find where in their budget they've got that extra $10 and get them right on.
Yep.
And we're not talking
Yep.
about people needing to make large wholesale changes to their lifestyle. It's really just make a couple small changes and let it snowball.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. You're basically living your life. You're just running the program. As long as you're honest, that you're telling it what your grocery bill is, and you have more income than outgo. This program runs like a hot knife through butter.
And I think that's important is that the folks who are spending more than they're bringing in, they that's unsustainable, and that's always going to be a recipe. And
Yeah, yeah,
I don't think there's any program that's actually going to help you with that.
correct.
You really need to sit down and take a look at what you're doing to get yourself in a
And
position where you have a little bit of a surplus every month.
right. And I have connections. I have people that can work with the budget. That's not expensive to do. Usually, it's just some fine tuning to realize what you're doing um, is to bring that budget under control. It's completely doable. I've done it dozens of times.
Right. um, Another question that I've got several versions of this: should I wait until I am out of debt before saving?
Yeah. So the caches. That's a great question. That is a very important question. And what I say to folks is, let's look at where you're saving. You're really saving it. Are you investing it in the stock market? What are you talking about in your savings? If you're putting it into a savings account, what is that generating? What, about 0.02 or something like that? I've seen 0.4 percent in savings in some big banks. Um, with the stock market right now, the market has been down. So what are you producing on an annual return with that savings? In contrast, if you're looking at a mortgage, you're looking at paying an interest rate on your mortgage really of something around 60%. So if you can pay down that mortgage, and even with the student loans, they're crazy. If you can pay that down, in effect, you're saving 60%. If you're not paying it, it's just the same as saving it. And it was a penny saved is a penny earned. And so the debt shredder, remarkably, as you go, it is building along the way a safety net. It is building an emergency cash fund in your savings account. The savings account is not generating much interest, but it's building that so that when the refrigerator breaks down or something will happen, the car needs new tires, you're not back to MasterCard. You have a fund, a cash account, that it's set with whatever your finances are. I can't say, depends on your finances, but you have a cash account. So when that emergency happens, you're not back out going to the bank loan. So waiting to save, we really have to think about that and do the math, because your interest that you're paying is way far more than the interest that you're earning on savings.
And I think you kind of alluded to we're gonna Fred doesn't just have the debt shredder. Fred has a lot of other innovative financial products, and we're going to be bringing him back and concentrate on those at a later date because it's you really can't look at this myopically in a tunnel and just focus on your debt. You really need a holistic look at your entire financial life. And we'll be, like I said, we're gonna be bring Fred back here in a couple weeks, maybe around the middle to ends of January. We're gonna talk about some other products and some other strategies that help with the wealth building,
Mhm.
and really how do you set your goals for what are your financial goals. But that's a little bit of an allusion to the future. But yeah, I think it's it's really important to realize that getting started on this kind of thing, whether it's savings or getting out of debt, the best time to do it is yesterday. You really should just run to the phone, pick it up, call Fred, and get started immediately. um, the next question, this is a good one. We had a couple questions on the topic of credit repair. I tried credit repair, but it's taking forever. Is there a faster way to fix my credit? And there were a couple of them, a couple of specific stories that came in of people who paid some money to have credit repair done, and it really didn't buy them a whole lot after they went through the process. Can you speak a little bit of what you do compared to credit repair?
So we really don't do credit repair. That's not the focus on it. Ours is to get you out of debt, is to pay these loans down, pay these loans off. The program is accelerating your amortization schedule or the credit card schedule that you have so that you're paying more in principal and thus less in interest. When you're doing all of this, your equity, your credit line goes up because you're paying your loans off. Your credit score will change. It will go up. It's not going to go down. But we're like the debt consolidation and getting another loan to pay off your loans. That's just not, we're just not focused on that. It's just, we don't talk about it. We're not really focused on that at all. But your credit score will improve as in a case of your mortgage, as your equity increases, it's not going to hurt your credit score. And as you're paying down your credit cards, your credit line is increasing. That's not going to hurt your credit score. So we're sort of tangentially having an impact on your credit score, but that's just not something we really focus on or worry about at all. It kind of comes with everything else.
Yeah, and I think there's been a real problem with people focusing on their credit score. Your credit score should be a consequences of your action, not a driver of your action. You should
Correct.
start
Yeah.
doing the right things, and then your credit score is going to improve, instead of focusing everything on trying to get that credit score up so you can go out and borrow more money.
Correct.
All right. I like this. Can you help a college student get out of debt faster? And I think we also had a couple that were new graduates trying to get out of debt before they launch themselves into the real world.
So the answer is let's do an analysis. Let's look at where you are. You do have to have income. You have to have some income. You do not have to be an executive at Exxon. You have to have some income that you're able to pay your bills on a timely basis. So if you're a senior in college, you're working part time, I would say wait, let's get a permanent job or get a couple of part time jobs where you're able to make those minimum payments. And then at no cost or obligation, let's run an analysis and see if the software is going to help you. But you should be out of college. You should be working a year or two at least before we would start to look at working with you and doing an analysis.
I actually have somebody coming on here. We're trying to get on in the next month or two, whose focus is on good jobs, get out of debt jobs. Those side hustles, those moonlighting jobs, those ways to basically boost your income for a short period of time to make a big dent into your debts. That's one of the. Sometimes there's just no substitute for more income, and we're going to have somebody come on and talk about that. But hey, where else are you going to put that extra income? Right into where the debt shredder tells you.
It really look on the thing. A lot of the emphasis is on making more money. I want to caution people is that that's something you have to do for quite a while, weeks in and weeks out. You're already maybe working 50 hours a week or more. If you're in the healthcare, you're easily doing that. What are you going to do? Let us run an analysis. It may not be as bad as you think. With your current income, the software might work very well. So a number of people have said, I need to earn more. I need to get a second job. And I'm always cautionary about that because it's maybe not as kind of easy week in and week out, month in and month out. Um, it, it's, uh, it certainly impacts your lifestyle, and it might not actually be quite as impactful as you may think.
On the other hand, I mean, maybe spending 6 months, or maybe working an extra few hours during the holidays, might have if you apply all of that income to a
Well,
debt, it might have a significant impact on your payoff.
sure, yeah, there's no question about that. Hmm.
But you may not. One thing taking a look at some of the numbers, you may not need to have that job all year long. You might be able to just do it for a few months and have a big impact, so you don't get that chronic burnout of constantly being on the treadmill.
Right. So again, let us do an analysis, and those questions will be answered for you.
I get a lot of concern about interest rates. If interest rates start going up, will the debt shredder still be effective?
Well, it's kind of neither here nor there because if your current interest rates, I don't know, you call them the ambient, the current interest rates, if they go up, your mortgage interest rate isn't going to go up. They're not refinancing your mortgage. Your mortgage rate's going to stay the same. Your credit cards are probably going to stay pretty close. They might inch up in the next 6 months or so. But the current interest rates increasing, when the Fed increases it, the answer is no, because you already have an interest rate with your credit card. You certainly have the interest rate with your mortgage isn't going to change. So to answer that it's really neither here nor there as the um, current interest rates fluctuate or go up. You've got the debt that you have. We need to show you a faster way to pay it off and get you out of debt. And you're not worried about increased interest rates.
Okay. Oh, I think that was our final question, and yes, it is. And I didn't see any more come in. I hope I didn't miss any on the live stream.
This felt like a graduate dissertation here, Marty. You really ran me through the ringer here on all the questions.
Well, I always post these live streams in a lot of different groups, and I really try to go out and try and get as many questions as I can from as many different individuals. So that's one of the things we're always doing. I'm just here verifying that we don't have any new questions. So after all of that, if somebody has heard these questions and the answers, and they're looking at them at their financial life and saying, "Boy, I really do need to do something," what's the first step they should do? Should they gather all their information together? Should they just contact you first, find out what they need to get?
Let's just get into a discussion. Visit my webpage, Alanomics. That's my last name, Alan, and economics jammed together. And I'm sure it will be on here, alanomics.com. My email is fred@alanomics.com. You can reach out to my staff, and so we can connect it at 304-876-3939 in West Virginia. And we will get a guide. We will get sort of like an info guide, email it to you. Again, no obligation. Let us run through your budget. Let's run an analysis. and look at it and see what you think. It may not be, what you want to do, and that'll be fine. We'll part company. Maybe we'll be friends on Facebook. But I would say 94% of the time, the people look at their analysis. It is absolutely sobering. It's absolutely staggering how much money we can save people, but we won't know until we look at your budget and run an analysis.
All right. Well, at that point, I think we've kind of exhausted our questions, and I think our audience knows what to do. Like I said, we're gonna. I think this is really good information on different a different approach to debt than most people have heard before. It's a much more I don't want to say high tech, but it definitely uses technology to the advantage of the person in debt, not just the because normally this technology is stacked up for the banks. And in this case, the debt shredder kind of gives you the ability to take technology and apply it to the common man, the average person. But we definitely are going to bring you back, Fred, on
Cool.
a couple of other
Deal.
topics, things that you work on. And I encourage the audience to contact Fred. The best part about Fred is he's going to be willing to help you out, whether you're right for the debt shredder or not. And if he can't help you, he probably knows somebody who can help you. And
Absolutely. Yep.
and the important thing is, one of the reasons I set up this channel is that we have our society likes to have kind of this idea that we kind of don't we don't ask the questions of the experts. We kind of live in a fear, uncertainty, and dread mindset, where we tend to listen to the talking heads on the television or the radio or the newspaper, and we kind of acquiesce to them, and they just get us all stirred up and frightened. Whereas if we look around our neighborhoods in our local community and we find somebody like Fred and say, yeah, I've got this debt problem, who should I talk? Well, talk to your local guy about your debt, and put together a plan and be proactive about it. And you don't have to live in fear, and you don't have to get stirred up by what's on the news and the latest. It's you really need to find those local people, those people near you, the people who know what they're doing, who can help you put a plan together, be proactive in a reality-based manner, and you realize that things aren't as bad as they seem, and that they can help you. You can put a plan together. You can improve your life by working with your local experts, get your questions answered, and really know where you sit, and don't operate your life out of the vision of fear. You can take control of your financial life. It's not that hard. You don't need to make huge changes. You don't have to, um, you know, small things add up, and before you know it, all your debts are paid off. You're on a path to paying your mortgage off early, and you have the surplus that you're putting into other savings and fulfilling those dreams you have, so that you're working because you want to. You're working because it's something you enjoy, as opposed to something you have to do because you've got this crushing debt weighing down on you.
Very well said. I feel like I should be interviewing you. You should be the one.
And like I said, I keep bringing in experts that I want other people to talk to, because the people who made my life better can make everybody else's life better. And with that said, next week we've got Blaine Richards coming in to talk about end of the year financial moves that everybody should make. We've got a couple other. I might be doing some solo shows after that to close out the year, talking about what it takes to go into business in this high tech world, and how all of these advances in technology are really deflationary and making it much easier to go into business with a small amount of money, and how you can do a lot more with less. And so that's coming up. Again, Fred, thanks again for coming in. You want to give your plugs one more time before we sign off?
Hey, thanks everybody. I really enjoyed this. Marty, you are great, and you make everybody feel, your guests feel so comfortable. Fred Allen, Fred at Allenomics.com, 304 876 3939 is my office. The staff will be happy to get you to me. And visit my website. I have the videos there. You can watch them. You can see how this stuff works with bank float and factorial math. www.allenomics.com.
All right. Thanks again, everybody. And tune in next week when we'll be talking about financial moves you need to make for the end of the year. And make sure you visit our sponsors, Digital On-Ramp WSI, Pillow Sonic, and Fun Gifts for Everyone. You'll find links down in the description. Do all the things, like, subscribe, do whatever. Thanks again, and have a great weekend.